So huge weekend coming up for Indian hockey with the men's national team hosting world champions Belgium in Bhubaneswar in the FIH Pro League. Indian coach Graham Reid knows all too well about them and he joins me now from the capital of Odisha. Graham, good to have you join us again to set up those matches. This is the Olympic year and when you play the best teams out there, you sort of get an indication, don't you, of how the team is placed for a crack at that elusive Olympic podium.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about Pro League this year is that it gives all the teams an opportunity to test their players, to test their combinations before the Olympic Games. So it's quite a nice thing for a coach not to have to worry too much about competition. Normally in an Olympic year you have to worry, oh, are we going to play this team because we play them in the Olympics? Are we not going to play them? You know, a few ducks and drakes are played, you know. But with the Pro League, we get to play all the good teams in the world, and it's really exciting.
Yes, because Belgium, Graham, have been one of the defining stories in hockey in the last decade. You know, I was there to see them win at the World Cup final in 2018, and you know what struck me was the camaraderie in this team that has been together since the junior ranks. Is that why they are the top team in world hockey today?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think they've been building in the last 10 years, Belgium, and there's been quite a deliberate approach. Some really good strategies. They've had some foreign coaches to come in, foreign high performance directors, and that sort of thing. And I think what you're starting to see now is a return from all the hard work that they've done. I think the government seems to have also put some effort into trying to fund them a little bit more as well, which always helps with when you are trying to put together a world champion team. That was one of the things with Australia, and it's actually one of the great things about India is that we have some very good funding model behind us, and I think that's a really important thing. I also think, as you say, they really are combined as a unit now, and that I think you see on the field.
Yes, they are an exciting team. Graham, you were part of the Netherlands team during that World Cup campaign, and obviously you know the Belgians well too. It's been about a decade here for us in India trying to set up a system to get back to the top. What are the lessons that the Indian hockey and the management can learn from the world champions, in your opinion?
Yeah, look, I think patience is one, to be honest. I think everyone in India likes to see results straight away, and unfortunately, you know, that doesn't always happen. But so long as you have the right processes in place, and that's what we're trying to do. As I've said, you know, quite a number of times before, this group of players has had a fantastic array of coaches that have provided some really good information and good guidance for this group. We've had people like Harendra Singh, the local coaches as well, who have also provided that stability and that ability to communicate with the players well. So I think we've got the right things in place at the moment. Now we just have to try and put them all together to form a team that can play a really good brand of Indian hockey in the modern game.
That's been the task, isn't it, Graham? But you're pretty much aware now, Graham, of how synonymous the Indian team is with the Olympic history of India. A lot of people sat up and took notice when we beat Netherlands in our Pro League debut. Hypothetically, if we get over the line with Belgium, then you know there will be a massive interest surrounding the team. So do you now see a role very similar to what Jurgen Klopp is doing at Liverpool, keeping the team grounded, so to say?
Yeah, look, I think that's a really important point, and I think that's one of the things that I try to bring to this group is that ability to stay grounded, to stay. So when you do win a game, that's great, but we need to learn as much from a win as we do from a loss. For example, against the Dutch, you know, we had some good quarters of hockey, but we also had second quarters in both games, which we need to improve on, get our defensive work created better. Lots of things that we can learn from that. So whilst we still won, we need to be getting better while we're winning. because that's one of the biggest problems is that, and what I also found working with the Australian team is that it's always very hard to change things when you are winning. So it's good to be able to do it with both, but also on the other hand, when you lose, you also need to be able to learn from things, but also don't overreact. You know, things like that. You've just seen what happens in Australia against Belgium, and the Dutch against the Spanish, for example. These sort of things happen, and we just have to learn from them, get better each time we get out there, and try and minimise the times where we are not playing well.
Okay, it's coming up to a year for you, Graham, here in India. Every new job is a challenge and also an opportunity, and we have seen some very consistent results, especially on overseas tours. Is that the missing piece of the jigsaw, consistency abroad?
Yeah, look, definitely. It's the one thing that I've been pushing since day one here, is about consistency, and that's pretty much what I was saying before about that ability to have a stable environment, stable reactions to things that happen on the field. We don't get too carried away when we play well and win, but we also don't get too carried away if things are not going well. And you know, again, yesterday I spoke to the group about if ever you are down, and you know, we can train that during our training sessions, that if a team is down, then I expect them to grab the ball and go and score another goal up the other end. That's the sort of mentality that I think we need to have to be the world's best.
Of course, Graham. That's it then. We don't want to take too much of your time ahead of the big game coming up. So wishing the team the very best, and we will catch up with you once again once the double header is over.